Oh Uemura, you're here again today. You came here yesterday as well, right?
Following Miss Tagawa into the staff room, Chris was spoken to by Mr. Fukuda, the math teacher.
Have you done something again every day? Don't make Miss Tagawa too troubled.
Mr. Fukuda said with a smirk, glancing sideways at Miss Tagawa. Miss Tagawa forced a smile on her face and gave a slight bow. After that, she left Chris waiting there and went to talk to the vice principal. When she returned, she guided Chris to the reception room.
Please have a seat.
Chris sat down in the corner of the three-seater sofa at the back as instructed by the teacher. It was a luxurious black leather sofa. The teacher told Chris to wait again and left the reception room. It was his first time entering the reception room. Next to the sofa where Chris is sitting, there is a single-seater sofa. And across from it, separated by a low table, there are two identical sofas lined up. On the wall, several certificates and an aerial photograph of the school taken decades ago are displayed. Beside it, there is another door with a plate that says, "Principal's Office," attached to it. The reception room seemed to be located right next to the tennis courts, and from behind the closed blinds. Chris could hear the shouts of the tennis club outside. There was a knock on the door, and Miss Tagawa entered. She placed the tea and bomkachin, which she had brought on a tray, in front of Chris.
Don't worry, go ahead and help yourself.
The teacher said with a smile as she sat down on the sofa opposite Chris.
I wonder if coffee would have been better?
The teacher said while sipping tea.
Oh no, thank you.
Chris bowed his head and holding the teacup with both hands.
So, what happened?
Chris was asked by the teacher while sipping tea.
You were called out by the second-year students, right?
Chris nodded while tracing the pattern on the teacup with his thumb.
Did they do something to you?
No, not really.
Chris replied and fell silent, prompting the teacher to sigh.
I think it was Sakamoto-kun and maybe Hasegawa-kun? It seems those two were injured, but what was the situation?
Chris looked up and met the gaze of the gray eyes. He realized from the teacher's thoughts that there was no intention to blame him. The only feeling that came from the teacher was a desire to help. Chris gently placed the teacup on the table.
It seems that when the seniors all rushed at me at once, and I dodged, they ended up hitting each other.
Chris explained the situation briefly, and the teacher widened her eyes in surprise.
Is that all?
Yes. Chris nodded.
But why did it come to that? There's no way someone would just attack without a reason, right?
I don't know, it seems like they don't like me, maybe it's my hairstyle.
The teacher nodded as if to say, I see, while looking at Chris's long hair that reached his shoulders.
But to try to hit you just for that is terrible, isn't it?
The teacher made a sympathetic face as if to take back the nod of agreement.
Do you really think that's the only reason?
I don't know, but probably.
Chris didn't say, I think it's because he got rejected by Sana Mitsuki. He doesn't want to involve Sana in something like this.
Okay, in that case, I'll let Mr. Sasaki, their homeroom teacher, know from me. I need to make sure he warns them not to lay a hand on one of my precious student again.
The teacher said in a slightly angry tone. It seems that the teacher is genuinely saying this. As Sana suspects, Chris couldn't believe that there was something behind Miss Tagawa.
But I'm fine, nothing happened to me. Actually, it seems like the seniors were the ones who suffered.
To be honest, Chris wanted to put an end to this matter. It would also be a hassle to be told later like, you snitched on the teacher, didn't you? However, the teacher was not willing to listen.
That's not the point. It's important for the homeroom teacher to be fully aware of this and to properly guide the students. We teachers have a responsibility to lead the students on the right track.
She said passionately. Surprisingly, Miss Tagawa seems to be a passionate teacher. Being new in the position, she might be overflowing with motivation. Overwhelmed by the teacher's enthusiasm, Chris nodded and said, "Okay. In any case, let's do whatever the teacher wants." That day, encouraged by the teacher, Chris went home instead of attending club activities. It was a club that didn't seem to matter whether being attended or not, and since Chris didn't particularly like it, it was better not to go if he didn't have to.